Hey guys, Scott Donschikowski here with another Lightroom video. And today we're going to talk about keywords, attributes, and metadata. And what the hell are those three things? Because if you're just a basic Lightroom user, you may not know that once you start to shoot a lot, get a lot of images into Lightroom, it's going to be very hard for you to find images quickly, find images efficiently. And Lightroom has so much more to the library module to allow you to find those images that you want for a specific project way easier than you may be doing it. So in the last video, we talked about organizing your images, organizing them in the catalog and folders and collections. And today we're going to talk about some further organization, right? Keywords, attributes, and metadata. Ways that you can tag your photo to make it easier to find at a later date, all right? So let's jump right in. We're going to talk first about keywords. And what a keyword is it's just a tag that you add to a photo so that you can then search for that photo at a later time. All these images were taken on a photo shoot that we did for this particular house with downtown dwelling, and it's a condo in San Jose. It's a penthouse condo. So there's a bunch of things that I have to think about when I want to search for this stuff later, right? If I'm looking for a condo, if I'm looking for real estate, if I'm looking for something that was shot for downtown dwelling, if I'm looking for a bedroom or a kitchen or a bathroom or a living room, these are all things that I want to think about and maybe add as a keyword to a particular photo. So to add that keyword, all I need to do is just click on a photo and come over to the keyword section in the library module. Again, hit the G button to get to your library. If you haven't brought images in yet, go watch the importing video and organizing videos, and then come here and we'll talk about, adding all this stuff. So right-hand side of the screen, keywording section, you'll see it says click here to add keywords. Well, I'll just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to click there and I'm going to add some keywords now. All right. So let's see. This is a living room. It's a condo. It is in San Jose. It was shot for downtown dwelling. Let's see, what other keywords do I want to add to this? It's a penthouse. Let's put that in there. Penthouse. And there we go. That's good enough for now. So condo, downtown dwelling, living room, penthouse, San Jose. Perfect. Now, these are all keywords. Most of these keywords actually can be attributed to every single photo here, right? With the exception of living room. So you can also add keywords to multiple images at the same time. All you have to do is just select them. So I'm going to select all of them. I'm going to click over here and I'm just going to select Command A, hit Command A or Control A on a PC. And then you'll notice that in the keyword suggestions here, I have two other options. I can also click here in the keyword set and I can click on recent keywords and it gives me all of the keywords that I was just using. So if any of these keywords will apply to all these images, well, you better believe I'm going to click on them. So penthouse, right? Let's add penthouse to all of them. It's also let's add downtown dwelling to all of those. It's also in San Jose. It's also a condo. So these four keywords are shared by every single one of these photos. Now, I'm not going to click living room, kitchen, or bedroom, obviously, because I'm selecting all the images. They all are not a living room, bedroom, and kitchen. So I'm going to reserve those keywords for, only the images that would satisfy that keyword. All right. So now that we have all of the images set, let's click on just the living room ones. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to click on just the living room ones, and then I'm going to click on living room right here in my recent keywords. Then I'm going to go down and I'm going to click these guys. So I'm selecting just the ones that I want in the bedroom, and I'm going to select bedroom from that list. And then we're going to go to the kitchen and I'm going to select all those, and then I'm going to hit kitchen. So now every single one of these images has condo, downtown dwelling, penthouse, San Jose, and either living room, kitchen, or bedroom tagged to it. Super easy. If you want to add more keywords, obviously you can. You can click here to add keywords. And the nice thing about this is that all you got to do is just type and then hit return. If you hit return, it automatically will add the comma and the space. So that's why clicking here is best. If you click in this area here, whoops, let's delete that keyword. Don't want that one. And that's how easy it is to delete it. Just hit return. If you come in here, you're going to have to manually add a comma and a space. And that's kind of a pain in the butt. So I only really come in here to alter or delete keywords if I misspelled them or if I need to delete them, and then hit return. So there we go. That is keywords for you. So next is attributes. And there's three things in attributes that help visually make an image stand out. Let me get out of the keyword section here. And if we look at our toolbar down here, if you don't have your toolbar up, just hit T on the keyboard and you'll see it'll pop up and pop back. So that's the toolbar right here. I'm gonna click this little arrow right here and I'm gonna make sure that I have flagging, rating, and color label selected so they will show up here. And I'm gonna go to loop view and I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm in loop view now, and then I'm gonna make sure that color label, rating, and flagging are also there. So we'll go back to the grid so we can see what we're doing here. So these three things are extremely important, right? These are all your attributes, or what Lightroom calls attributes: flags, ratings, and color labels. They are visual ways to set images apart, to make it more visually identifiable, okay? So picking is just that, right? Or flagging, excuse me, is just that. If I click on a photo and I hit P or X, I can pick a photo or I can reject a photo. It's just up to you what you want to do, obviously. So typically what I would do, you can also hit U to remove the flag, okay? So if I click on a photo like this, typically my workflow, as you guys saw before, was making a photo full screen like so, or in loop view like so, and then using the arrow keys to navigate through all of them and just make decisions and add attributes based on that. So I'm gonna hover my fingers, my right hand is over the arrow keys to do this, and my left hand is kind of going back and forth between P, X, and U. So P to pick, X to reject, and U to remove the flag. So I'm going to reject this photo with X. I'm going to pick this photo and that one and this one and reject this one and reject this one and this one and this one. And I could go down the line. I'm just going to do these ones just so that we get a clear idea of what we're doing. I'm going to go back to the grid and you'll see that we have, you know, these photos were picked, these photos were rejected. And so there you go, right? The rejected photos are grayed out to let you know that these photos are maybe no longer good. The one clear benefit of using the X key or rejecting photos, at least for me, because I rarely ever pick photos, you know, if you could see me doing air quotes here, picking photos. The one clear advantage to flagging a photo for rejection is that you don't have to, if I want to delete these photos at a later time, hit the delete key and actually delete these photos from disk. I don't have to do that. If a photo's been rejected, I can go up to the menu and click photo and then click delete rejected photos. And Lightroom will automatically search through whatever you're searching in, right? I'm in all photographs. So it's gonna look through all the photographs for every photo that I've tagged as a reject, and it's going to ask me if I wanna delete them. So at this point, I could say delete from disk. I'm just gonna hit cancel at this point, but that's how you would delete multiple photos, right? So you go through all of them, make your rejects, and then you can delete them. Okay. Next is stars, ratings. So if I click on a photo and I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 on my keyboard, I can rate the photo. It's just that easy. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So if I go through, I'm just going to go through real quickly and just label some of these photos with some ratings. We're just going to get a bunch of these rated here, and I'm just arbitrarily doing this. Okay, we'll go back to the grid. All right, and now you can see, after just a real quick example here, just getting through and rating these images. Now, I typically don't use ratings, I think, the way they were meant to be used, which is like a photo is a 1, you put a 1. If you think it's a 2, it's a 2. If you think it's a 4 or a 5, it's a 5. I don't really rate that way. I just rate so that I can actually see something different about a photo. Case in point, if you're a Canon shooter and you look on the back of your Canon, if you're shooting with a 5D Mark III or a 5D Mark IV or a 7D Mark II. Now, if you take photos and you're going to be in the back of your car, or you're going from location to location, or you're on a plane, or you just have some free time and you have your camera, go through your images and rate them. Just rate them with 1 star. When you import those images into Lightroom, you will see that the photo that you took will have that 1 star on it, right? And all it needs is 1 star for you to just see that you liked that particular photo. That's it. And then you can know, oh, this photo is sharp or has a good composition, or, you know, whatever the case may be. So I use that all the time on my Mark III. I constantly rate images. All right, so that's stars. We have that out of the way. Now we're going to talk about color labels, the last attribute in this particular list. So a color label is another way to visually enhance the image that you see in the library, right? So it's making an image, again, stand out from the rest of them so that you know that that's the image that you want to do something with, right? Whatever that may be. So there's 5 color labels that you have. You know that 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are ratings, but what you may not know is that 6, 7, 8, and 9 are color labels, right? There's no, sadly, those of you that like purple, there's no color label quick key for purple. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for red, yellow, green, and blue. So I've decided long ago that any image that I send over to Photoshop, when it comes back to Lightroom, I hit 9 on the keyboard. I make that photo have a blue color label. So the reason being is that if you look, at my grid here, there's 3 images in this particular set of 47 that have that came back from Photoshop as a TIFF file. And I'm a lazy person, and I just want to quickly see which one came from Photoshop. And if I'm looking at all these photos, right, I'm just scanning through, it's really hard for me to tell at a moment's glance, just a quick glance, which ones are the TIFF files and which ones aren't. Yes, I know that this says TIFF right here. I know it says TIFF, but I'm blind and I'm distracted, and there's a million things going on in my head, and I need to see it. I need to see something just big and bold, just blah, like this is a TIFF file. So I've gone ahead and made sure that in my workflow, anything that has a blue color label is something that came from Photoshop, right? It's a completed image. So this image, and then this one way down here, these are my TIFFs. Again, that's just 9 on the keyboard for blue. So again, you can use the colors for whatever you want. I don't know why I chose blue for Photoshop. I mean, I could have chosen green or yellow or purple. It doesn't matter, but blue's, well, that's whatever it is. So if I am completely finished with this photo shoot, and I've edited the images, and I need to know which ones are the ones that I'm going to send to the real estate agent for them to post on the MLS, I want to do that very quickly. And the only way for me that I've noticed that gets it done that quick is to add these color labels. So here's my blue color label image. That one's finished from Photoshop. Here's another one from the bedroom. And then here's the last one from the kitchen, right? And all of these have that blue color label. Makes it really easy to see in the grid. So I can select one and then command click or control click 2, 3, and I can add them to the quick collection. And then there they are, right? So that's what a color label does. Now that's just blue. You can use the other color labels however you want. That's the beauty of this, right? You can even name them if you want to. If I click on any image and go up to metadata, and then I can say, let's see, where is it here? Color label set. I can edit the Lightroom default and I can rename these color labels, right? So 6, I could maybe rename the red one something else. I don't know what it would be. On my other Lightroom catalog, blue just says Photoshop on it. So you could rename these if you wanted to, and it would show up as a label. Now the color is not going to change, obviously, but and you really can't see this other than in the metadata. That's just how it works, right? You could change the name if you really wanted to. All right, so I'm going to hit cancel. I don't want to do that, at least in this example. And say, for example, you have a bunch of images you're going to turn into an HDR, right? So if you have these 3 images and they're going to be an HDR, well, why not make HDR yellow? So when you're looking at your images, you know that the ones that are yellow like this are HDR. What about a pano? What if you have like these images right here? What if these are going to be a pano shot? You're going to turn into a pano. What if you make pano purple? So all the purple images here you would combine into a panorama, right? What if images that need to be processed, that are your favorited ones, let's say this is a pic here and this is a pic here, what if these images you put red so that you know that these 2 need processing, right? It could be something as simple as that. So that's how you use color labels. Oh, and then the last one, like what if this one is just really, really good and it doesn't need any processing and it's just green? So we could make these ones green. We could say, okay, here's a couple green ones that are just good right off the bat. We don't need to do anything else with. So that's color labels. All right, so lastly in this bunch, we have metadata. And metadata is everything that your camera writes to that image the moment you hit the shutter button. So if I scroll over here to the, again, right-hand side of the screen, you'll see we have the metadata panel. And I'm going to click on an image here, and we're going to see a bunch of values in this metadata panel. And we're just looking at the default, gives us a kind of a good representation of what we can see here. So things like file name, copy name, title, caption, copyright, rating, if you have it, capture time, dimensions, all of the stuff right here, this EXIF metadata is what comes from your camera. And we don't necessarily change these values or add to them, but it allows us to search. Again, the whole point of this is that you can search for these things at a later time, which we're going to get to in a second after we talk about this metadata part. What would I add or change in the metadata area? Okay. Well, firstly, we'll talk about the file name. I never change my file names. I only change them if I'm going to export them, but I never change them in Lightroom. And the reason for that is because the way that the camera takes pictures nowadays, the newer ones, they use an alphanumeric code. So you see here underscore 86A3005.cr2, right? The reason why this is so that you can't have file names that have duplicate names, right? There will never be another A6A3005. It just won't happen. It'll just go to another alphanumeric number. So I never change these because I am worried that if I leave the file name or if I rename the file to something else, I might have duplicate file names, and then that's a whole nother problem. So I never rename the files. So something that I would change would be title, caption, copyright, and creator, right? This area here, I would change. If I'm going to put an image online, I might add a title to it, right? If this is a nice landscape image, I might entitle it something, like extreme nature, right? And then I might write a caption of, maybe something that happened when I took that photo, right? So I would, say something like, use your imagination, right? I don't really need to type it in. But that would be a title and caption. So when someone goes online and sees this photo, it has a name and it has a little story behind it, right? And I can do that in the metadata so that when I upload that photo to Flickr or to 500px or to my website or to Facebook or whatever it may be, I don't have to then name it each time I put it in somewhere online. It's already got that information in the metadata. Okay, so that's one thing I might change. We're going to delete this. Another thing that I might change is the copyright. So I'll put a copyright here, copyright 2015, I'll do that. I can change the copyright status to copyrighted. And then I might put my name as the creator. That's just a simple thing you can do. Other things I might change would be the capture time and date. If you do not have your time correctly on your camera, you need to do that right now. Stop this recording and go and do that. Make sure that you're date and time on your camera is correct, because it's a huge problem if it's not, especially if you want to search for this stuff later. I can't tell you how many times I look at photos based on the date and time they were created, because I want to know, like on a specific day, what I was doing, or maybe I'm looking for a shot of a specific day. And if this is incorrect over here, it makes it really difficult. So I'm going to show you really quick how you change this. So you'll see that it says capture time and date. If I click this little, this guy right here where it says edit capture time, it's the 3 lines and 3 dots. If I click that, it brings up the edit capture time window. And then I can alter the time and date or add a corrected time, whatever I want. It can be 1976 if I wanted it to be. Let's say you had a bunch of slides that you want to import into Lightroom. Well, none of that stuff's going to have a time and date on it. It might have a creation time and date, but it's not going to be the date that it was taken, obviously. So you could go back and you could edit the capture time of these individual files, right? Another way that you might want to change this is, let's say, for example, you live in San Jose or California, and you travel to Europe. Let's say you travel to London. Well, London is 8 hours ahead of us. So if you don't really want to alter the time in your camera, which you don't really have to, but you can know when you go that every image you take is going to be ahead by 8 hours. So you can shift by a set number of hours. You can click this little icon here and you can shift this +8, and it will automatically alter the time of that photo up 8 hours, which is incredibly awesome. So for example, if all of these images, let's say they were shot in Texas, which is Central Time, that's 2 hours ahead of us, I could select all these images and I could click right here, edit capture time, and I could say shift by a set number of hours and then +2. And then all of these images will be shifted up 2 hours to reflect that time change. Super, super awesome. We're going to hit cancel here to undo that. Go back to a single photo. And that's really all that I do when I change the metadata. You can fool around on this panel a little bit more if you want to, but you can do a hell of a lot over here. Like say, for example, I'm going to select all these photos and then maybe I'll change the copyright status to copyrighted. And I'll apply select it to all of them. And there we go. Now every single image has that particular copyrighted status. If you want to, you can also define a preset for this. So let's say that I want to make sure every image has a copyright, it's copyrighted, and the creator is me. Well, I could go up to the preset here and I could say edit presets. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here and I'm going to drag this down to IPTC creator. And then I can put my name into this. Right above it, IPTC copyright. I can add my copyright and whether it's copyrighted or not. I'll just put copyrighted. And then I can scroll up to the top here and go to preset and say save current settings as new preset. And I could name it my name. And then every time I import the photos, I can add this metadata preset. And typically, if you add one by default, it will be the default preset. So it will add this information to your images automatically. I'm going to hit done, and I'm just going to hit don't save. All right, so that's metadata and how you would alter it. So the last bit to bring all of this together and to tie it up in a knot is to search for all of this stuff, right? So if you have a bunch of images and they're all tagged with keywords, you know about metadata, and you've maybe added some attributes to these photos, you can search for this stuff extremely easily, okay? So if you haven't already noticed, at the top of your library, right up here, in between your grid and the module picker, this little section right here, you'll see it says library filter. If you don't see this, hit the / key on your keyboard. / will bring that library filter back down. It's the same on a Mac and a PC, just the / key. You see I'm just hitting it here and it goes away and then it comes back. So we see text, attribute, and metadata up here. If I go to text, I can start typing in this field and I can search any searchable field. So any bit of text in these photos I can search for. Now I'm going to switch this to keyword just by clicking on it clicking on that and hitting keywords, and now I can search for just the keywords. So if I type in condo, right, I get all these images. Well, let's make this a little easier. Let's say bedroom. So now it's going to search all of the images for this particular tag. And again, I'm in all photographs, so it's going to search every photograph in the catalog for this particular word that I've entered in here, right? Bedroom. And these are the images that show up. If I cancel this out and I type in kitchen, it's going to give me all the kitchen keywords, okay? And it's just that simple, right? That's how you search for text. So I'm going to click text to have that go away, and then we're going to go to attribute. Attribute allows you to search for those 3 attributes that we were talking about, right? For pics, for ratings, and for color labels. But it also lets you search for master photos or photos that you've imported into Lightroom, whether they're JPEGs or PSDs or TIFFs. Virtual copies, so if you've made a virtual copy of something, maybe to turn it to black and white or to change the crop, that would be listed there. And then videos, so if you import everything from a compact flash card or an SD card and it's got some video in it, you can search for just the video files. Super easy to do. All you gotta do is just click on it. So there's all my master photos. There's all my virtual copies. I'm gonna click again. And there's all my videos. You can see I have none in here. We didn't take video this day. All right, so let's just do flags. So if I click this flag here, it shows me all of the flag photos, so all the picked images, right? If I click it again, it goes back to no filter. I can click this guy in the middle here, and it shows me the unflagged photos, so photos that haven't been marked for pick or reject. Let me click that again, and then I'll click the last one, which is rejected photos. Right, so it shows me just the rejected photos. Super easy. You got to click it again to have it not search, because you could click this one and this one, and it shows you all of the images that are flagged and have 2 stars. So you can add extra search fields to this to further, subdivide, I guess, your search fields here. So we'll kind of get rid of all that so we get back to no filter. And then obviously we can search for specific color labels as well. So if I wanted to search here, I could search for just the blue color labels. I could search for blue with 3 stars or greater. Let me go back to the view with no search. You could also change the rating here. Right now it's set to greater than or equal to. I could change this to is equal to. And then I could say 3 stars. So these are all of the 3-star images, all the 4-star images, all the 4-star images with a purple color label. It's just that simple, right? And you can add in as much as you want. I'm going to change this back to greater than or equal to. Okay. And that's attribute. That's how you search for attributes. The last one is searching for metadata. So you can see here we have 4 columns, right? And in each one of these columns, we have date, camera, lens, label. Now you notice when I mouse over these that it highlights, because I can change this. If I click on it, I can actually change it to any one of these values here. So if I want to search for camera, I can do that. All I got to do is just select camera. If I want to shoot for lens, there it is, obviously. If I want to search for, let's see, creator, I can search for that. Or aperture, right? I can do all of that from here. I can even add new columns to this list. If I mouse over this, you'll see that there's a little tiny box over here. If I click that, I can add a column or remove a column. So I could make 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. How much screen real estate do you have? All right. So I also talked about adding images or importing images to your catalog and organizing them via date, and why I don't do it. I organize everything into folders based on event or place. And the reason why I do that is because I can always search for dates at a later time. Because it's all built into the metadata. So if I really need to find out what I was doing May 25th, 2015, I can go over and click on metadata up here, and I can search for that particular day, right? It's just that simple. All I need to do is click metadata, go to the date, and then just find the day I'm looking for. Obviously, all of these shots were taken on November 4th, 2016. So that's it. That's really all there is to it. I can click on all and then go and click on this one. This is the camera, right? It shows me all of the images that were shot with this particular camera. Let's show you what this looks like with a lot more images. So I'm going to open up my other catalog here. I'm going to go to Open Recent, and I'm going to go to Lightroom Catalog, and we'll relaunch. And now you're going to see what this looks like with a fully developed catalog. Okay, so I'm still going to make all photographs searchable here, and then I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to type in some keywords here. Have I added in the letter red? I have. So all of the images that have the keyword red, and let's make sure we switch this to keywords. So these are all the images that have the keyword red, right? Of these images, which ones have a blue color label? So I can click on attribute and I can add the blue color label to that. So now we're looking at images that have a keyword of red, attribute, they are blue, and then I could even go to metadata and I can add which ones were taken with this particular camera, a 7D Mark I, okay? So now I'm searching across all three of these things, right? I have a keyword red, attribute blue, camera 7D, and I can go through all, these are all the images that fit those criteria. It's just that easy, folks. I'm gonna hit none up here and we'll get back to just the entire thing. If I wanted to re-edit keywords, you'll notice that the images here have a little black pencil. So if I click on that, you'll see it says action, Leica, and sampler. So the camera was, I believe it was an action sampler, and the dog's name in the photo is Leica. So that's it, right? It shows me the keywords there, and I can just start editing as I see fit. Let's go back to metadata, and you can see here again, in the year view, I can see year by year how many images I've taken. 2015 was a big year, right? 26,000 images. 2016. So where was I, right? What did I say? May 25th, 2016. That's 2006. Let's go to 2016. May 25th. So here we go. We were in Washington. All right, guys, so that was a look at keywords, attributes, and metadata. Hope you learned something. Click subscribe if you liked what you saw. There's going to be more videos coming soon. Once again, I'm Scott Donschikowski. Happy shooting.